Christmas!
Welcome to Toyah and Robert's Burning Questions of the Week, in which we provide a pile of useless answers from the deeply unqualified twosome. But first of all, I have a question for my wife.
Ooh!
Am I your Christmas bitch?
You are my Christmas bitch. You are the love of my life.
Thank you, sweetie. All right then. Well, that's settled. On to the next question.
David Neal, what is the one track that you have written that you still remember the emotion that created it?
All right, David is making an assumption here.
What? Why?
David is assuming that the emotion gives rise to the music, when it may be that the music gives rise to the emotion.
Okay, both are possible.
Yeah?
So it's not an assumption. It's a very good question.
All right, it is a very good question, assuming.
So who wants to go first?
You do.
Okay. I'm laughing because the next question has just been demonstrated. For me, there are many songs because I get emotionally affected by creativity. A painting can make me cry, a chord sequence can make me cry, lyrics, films can make me cry. But I had an experience exactly a year ago, December the 13th, when I was told something that had happened to my mother, and it was discovered by Ancestry.com. And everything fell into place in that moment, and I came home and I wrote a song called Barefoot on Mars, which is on Posh Pop, and Simon Darlow did the music for it. The emotion of that was so intense, I decided not to pull my punches. It's a very truthful song about not understanding why someone was so damaged, was passing the damage on to me, to the point of destroying trying to destroy so many hugely potential careers. I was being brought up to be a champion ice skater, and my mother had surgery done on my feet and I never skated again. And then at the height of my singing fame, the abuse kicked in again. So Barefoot on Mars is about the fact that we all deserve our once upon a time, and that emotion and the truth of that song will remain for me forever. And the fact I held her when she died, and I don't think I ever once heard her say she loved me. So that is my answer, David. What's yours?
All right, since we're on mothers, noting that the music might give rise to, shall we say, a feeling, and a feeling might give rise to music. The Blessing of Tears Soundscape album from 1993 was recorded live soundscapes when I was in grief for my mother, who had just died. And for me, that clearly resonates through the music today.
I remember the night your mother died, because I was filming in Clacton and they wouldn't let me leave the film set. And I got to the hospital just as she passed, because it was a 120-mile journey. And you changed quite remarkably in that moment. And I remembered that I had to make a bed for you on the floor because you couldn't move, because you'd held your mother for so long. And then this music started to travel through you. And it was remarkable music for a remarkable woman. So yeah, that will always be the one.
So there.
Yeah. Different experiences with the same relations. Okay.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Bridget Robson. Now, why I was laughing earlier, I love this question. My burning question is, Robert Fripp, are you a chauvinist? When I attend your concert, you made a comment about how many women were there simply because their husbands or boyfriends had brought them. I am a woman and I have followed King Crimson since 1969. Why would you think women would not like or understand King Crimson? And what made you pose this question? I would just like to point out that most of the questions in the past week, my husband chooses the questions, and they're always about him. Well, you were chauvinist.
This is such a pile of tosh.
He's a chauvinist.
Well, little lovey, when I asked you about this a couple of days ago, you said you're not a chauvinist.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did. So let me approach this question, if I may, dear. All right, Bridget. So why do I, this has nothing to do about understanding the music. This has to do about liking the music. So why do I make this comment? Well, for example, there has been online many comments for years, most recently by Deborah Mastelotto, Pat Mastelotto's wife, about how the joy of King Crimson shows is that you can always get into the ladies' bathroom.
That's
there is
the
never
joke.
a queue.
Never a queue at a King Crimson show for the women.
Yeah, now, why do I come to this view that women don't like King Crimson? Well, over a period maybe of 40 years, looking off a stage and seeing lots of men and very few women. And on occasions when, for example, in an amphitheatre, one of the sheds about 1995, we came off stage and Bill Buffett said to us, "Did you see that?" And we all knew what Bill was talking about. He didn't have to say any more. It was the woman next to the man in the third, maybe fifth row, who after 20 minutes began. And at 30 minutes led him out. Now, Bill didn't have to say a word. We knew why, because we'd seen it so many times before, going back to the 80s. So this is just a report on an observation, years and years and years of seeing very few women at King Crimson shows. Now, it changed about 2017, particularly in Europe. Looking out, for example, in Pompeii, which was 27 or 18, the amphitheatre of Pompeii, and seeing increasingly the number of couples of 30 and below with men and women seeming to have a good time. So Crimson now has perhaps 3 generations of people, characters of my age down to the mid-60s, which are nearly all men, then from about 65 down to 40s-ish, where you have mainly men but some women. And my inquiries at Royal Packages suggest that maybe the women have been invited along. And then you have 30 and below, where it seems that this is a new generation of men and women who have discovered King Crimson and going out to have a good time with the Beast of Crim.
Okay, I want to add 2 things here,
Yes.
which might be slightly sexist. Pompeii, romantic, beautiful amphitheatre where people wanted to see Pompeii as well as King Crimson. So it was a destination venue.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yes.
denigrating what you
Yeah.
did and what the work is, but perhaps bear in mind that people like beautiful venues.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing is, and this is sexist on my part, I suppose, but I've noticed this. My top end hearing is so peculiarly sensitive. I can hear things about 200 yards away. I can hear conversations. I can hear keys turn in locks. It's been a problem all my life because it means I can't sleep very well because we can't cut these sounds out. So King Crimson is mixed through male ears. Now, male ears for me, I think, are slightly dull on the very top end. Female ears are super aware on the top end. So when you were gigging with the Bruford lineup, the mix had so much top end that I found it very, very painful to listen to live. And with the new band, I think with Chris Porter's ears, that top end has been subdued a bit and it's no longer a painful experience to listen. And I think it's not a question of women don't like King Crimson. I think it's to do as much with frequencies sometimes as it is to do with the venues you choose and also, you know, how women love environments. You know, they could bring their men to Pompeii. They could have a dirty weekend in Pompeii with the ones they love. That kind of thing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your questions this week. My husband has loved answering them.
And trying hard to say a little more, but perhaps I won't.
Happy Christmas, everybody. See you soon.
Happy Christmas from Robert, as well as my wonderful little wife.
We have a Sunday lunch for you tomorrow. Don't forget. Lots of love.